Hey folks, 7th here. Soak up this footage of a good game while you can. You won't be seeing the likes of this for a while. I'll be the first to admit, I have been lax in video production this generation. My views dropped and it just felt like YouTube had passed me by. I just stuck to the 7th cast and considered myself semi-retired. Well, the events of this year, especially recently, have changed my outlook quite a bit. I've done you all a disservice. So from now on, I don't care if the video gets 10,000 views or 10 views. I'm just going to have fun, and I'm going to make the videos I want to make, and the videos I know my longtime fans would want to see. On that note, here's a little holiday surprise. From today through Christmas Day, I will be posting a brand new review each day of some of the absolute worst games this generation has to offer thus far. This won't completely catch me up on this gen, but hell, it's a start. So without further ado, I proudly present the 12 Shits of Christmas. So we're kicking things off with a bang here. Let's take a look at what could very well possibly end up being the absolute worst game this whole generation. Yeah, you knew I was going to go here eventually. This is Dustborn. Having spent several hours on this title, but having only paid $5 for it, thank God, it's hard to comprehend who the developers thought their audience was. Hardcore gamers hated it, game sites that aren't Polygon hated it, and of course the woke crowd didn't buy it because guess what? Those folks like to bitch about video games but not actually buy or play them. How should I even begin to describe this piece of shit? Imagine it's 2014 and Telltale Games is bought out by Anita Sarkeesian and Zoe Quinn. This is probably the game they would have made. I think it may just be the wokest game I've ever had the displeasure to encounter. In fact, it is so overwhelmingly woke that when I first tried it, I thought it was a tongue-in-cheek, ironic piece of satire done by a Babylon Bee-ish right-wing developer making fun of the eternal activist left. But alas no, friends, this game is serious. It is a Telltale-style point-and-click game with a little bit of poorly done Guitar Hero wannabe rhythm play, super simplistic puzzling, barely there and bordering on pointless combat, and lots and lots and lots of talking. You see the prologue playing out in the background there? Yeah, that goes on for a solid 15 minutes before the actual game starts. So the story takes place in a sort of elseworld future where Jackie Kennedy died taking the bullet, including the magic one, for JFK. So he ends up marrying his lover Marilyn Monroe, and somehow this turned the world into a fascist dictatorship? Well, alright then. It's like the woke crowd's version of 1984, where a police force in Fantastic Four-ish uniforms and made up of robots and evil racist white people flitter about looking for neurodivergents, people of color, other kin, and everyone who identifies as anything other than a straight white person to lock them up, torture them, unalive them, and so on. Oh, and they really don't like this universe's version of Marvel's mutants either, known as Anomals. Spelled animals but with an O instead of an I. Not sure if that was intentional or was meant to be ironic. Anomals have special powers called voxes via their voice. Some it gives them super strength, some can control minds, some are empaths and can change your mood, known as gaslighting. Yes, I'm serious, get used to it. The game's plot revolves around a group of 30-something woke generation anomals who perform a heist, steal data from the government, and Princess Leia style are trying to smuggle it into Canada by pretending to be a punk band called Dustborn. I use the word punk far more lightly than the writers did, because the music made for this game is about as punk as the Blair Witch Project is a political thriller. Anyway, the main character is called Pax. She has numerous powers, all named after things far-left nutjobs like to do to normal people. She can bully enemies, she can trigger them, she can cancel them, she can discord them. You get the idea. Oh, and by the way, the past event that caused the creation of the anomals also created ghost-like entities called echoes that can literally possess the minds of righteous, upstanding liberals and turn them into evil, racist, right-wing QAnon conspiracy theorists. Pax has a modified Game Boy-like device that she calls the Meme, yes, I'm serious, that she can use to capture these echoes and use them to unlock additional powers to use on robots and evil white straight people. The mechanic of capturing these echoes is more or less ripped straight out of the Ghostbusters game from the previous generation. Now, like most Telltale-style games, the gameplay consists mostly of just navigating endless dialogue trees. It's broken up occasionally by the band having to play one of their god-awful songs, done in a poor man's imitation of Rock Band or any other rhythm game from 15 years ago, occasionally ghost-busting one of the aforementioned echoes, and even rarer, fights. The combat really feels like an afterthought. You can swing a bat, you can throw a bat, you have the aforementioned Vox powers you can use for crowd control, and you have co-op attacks that you can perform with Pax's friends. None of it feels good or impactful. It just stops the flow of the game altogether, dumps several enemies into your current location, and you beat them all to death with a mixture of blunt force head trauma and woke mind game attacks. Dustborn runs at a consistent 60 frames per second on PS5 Pro, but of course, it looks like Life is Strange running on a PS3, so that kinda tracks. The writing and characters are just as bad as it sounds. Theo is the most agreeable character in the whole game, acting as both the team's boss and surrogate father, but of course is always the brunt of the group's scorn, jokes, and mean-spirited pranks. Everyone else are supposed to be good close friends, but through the whole game just bicker and bitch at each other constantly. I couldn't imagine being able to sit in a room with these people in real life for more than a few minutes. They are that petty, self-centered, and insufferable. I spent my whole playtime trying to get them just to be nice to each other, and only managed to consistently do so between Pax and Theo, and Pax and her non-binary lesbian other friend, and even there it constantly felt like they were on shaky ground. The writers couldn't even leave the robot character alone. It starts out as a mostly bland, accidentally funny male automaton, only to find out later that no, it was really a female robot that had maleness forced upon it. I am not joking. I really want to believe this whole thing was an ironic farce. I really don't want to accept that the writers were this lacking in self-awareness, where they have their characters using woke magic to make racist white cops shoot each other, all the while singing about "your time is past, your kind won't last," with the hero being raised in a commune by her two moms that then devolves into a Sappho goddess lesbian cult who makes money growing and selling opium, run by an echo-possessed villainess named Fred, who is really just a female reskin of Malachi from Children of the Corn.
Outlander! We have your woman!
The bottom line is that there's a reason Dustborn never had more than 100 concurrent players on Steam. There's a reason Dustborn is currently $6 on PSN. And that reason is narratives that are solely about the message don't make for good games. Dustborn gets a big fat whopping 0 out of 7.
Message!